All right, so who is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man ICE mistakenly deported to an El Salvador prison? We'll get into it, right? So, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's story begins in his native El Salvador, but it's become increasingly unclear where it will end. Last week, the U.S. Supreme Court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return to the U.S. from a notorious prison, rejecting the White House's claim that it couldn't retrieve the Salvadorian national after mistakenly deporting him. Trump administration officials on Monday pushed back against the idea of bringing him back, arguing it was up to El Salvador. The president of El Salvador said he lacked the power to return him, saying it would be preposterous to smuggle a terrorist into the United States. Interesting, right? Abrego Garcia, age 29, lived in the U.S. for roughly 14 years, during which he worked construction, got married, and was raising 3 children with disabilities, according to court records. Trump administration officials said he was deported last month based on a 2019 accusation from local police in Maryland that he was an MS-13 gang member. Abrego Garcia denied the allegation and was never charged with the crime, his attorney said. So just kind of like chaos, right? Every time Trump's involved in these stories, just massive divide here, okay? And notice the arrows, age 29, lived in the US for roughly 14 years, and deported last month based on a 2019 accusation, okay, that from local police in Maryland that he was an MS-13 gang member. Look at this. Well, Trump equals 29 in the language. Deported equals 129. Trump's upcoming birthday as 29 date numerology. Remember, dude is age 29. Notice how it says living in the US for roughly 14 years? US equals 14 in 2 ciphers. Trump is born on the 14th of June. Look at the last name, Garcia. That's the ABC 123 cipher. Garcia equals 39. Look at deported over here in reverse reduction. Deported equals 39. In 2019, there was accusations from the Maryland police that he was an MS-13 gang member. 20 plus 19 is 39. You see that? And he's deported, and that's his last name. Even Garcia, 30, like deport. Okay? And you also get the 42 with the last name along with deported. Right? Because this stuff just pumps out by this code and the numbers, right? So just a lot of back and forth here. Okay, to go along with the divide, do we have some protests going on here? I stand with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Right now they're saying the president of El Salvador said he lacked the power to return him, saying it would be preposterous to smuggle a terrorist into the United States. So just a lot of confusion and chaos, as like I said, that comes with Trump. Okay, look at these connections. Trump will speak on MS-13, right? And I'll play a video, and we have news clips as well coming up. Are you kidding me? It states MS-13 gang member right there, okay? And I just read it to you. Look, MS-13 gang member in the language 220 and 76, just like Donald John Trump. This is just the language. These are facts, not my opinion. I kind of like just coming with the facts here. A lot of people just create YouTube videos. Here's my opinion. Here's my opinion on, here's a food review on the new McDonald's cheeseburger. It's like, dude, barf, right? Look at these facts. MS-13 gang member 220 and 76 like Donald John Trump. Look at, even Donald J. Trump has the 176. Look at the 68, which matches Donald John Trump. I want you to see MS-13 gang member. Isn't that amazing? 130 like 13, and it's MS-13 gang member. You want to know something else about 113? Politics equals 113. Look at this. Politics 113. Look at the 103, which is like 13. Notice the 50 with politics, just like Donald. 50. 31, which is 13 reversed. What are the odds of that, okay? And something else down here, you see politics equals 40, just like US equals 40 and 4. Remember, we hit on the 14 earlier. They said Garcia lived in the US for nearly 14 years. USA also equals 40. Look at the 41, the 14 reversed, right? Even when you write out United States, you get 40. Okay, so I mean, it's not a coincidence. Nobody's sitting writing out these articles, okay? This is like a script. And nobody's writing the script. It's just pumped out by this code with the language. And look at right here. You see the Trump administration officials on Monday pushed back against the idea of bringing him back, arguing it was up to El Salvador. 61 days before the Trump birthday. El Salvador in reverse, 161. Middle name John, Donald John Trump, John equals 16 and 61. Remember the Capitol insurrection riot script? When was that? The 6th day of the first month. Okay? And of course, Trump born in the 6th month. You see that? Right? And notice how Monday was the 14th and his birthday is in 2 months on the 14th. Ooh, and his birthday's on the 14th and the story's on the 14th. So on the fly, that matches US. And then you see lived in the US for roughly 14 years. Awesome, right? Even Monday with the article here for, look, 16 date numerology. Wow, this is amazing. Leaving 261 days in the year. There's another 61. Notice how it's the 104th day of the year, like 14 on the 14th day of the 4th month. Isn't that amazing? Because 104 is like 14. And you see how this all comes together. Look at that. So I caught like about 2 of those things, 2 or 3 of those things on the fly. We got it, right? You see that? And there's a little bit more, but let's go check something else. And I have a couple of video clips coming up. What does MS-13 stand for? Mara Salvatrucha 13. The gang addresses its origin, gang member characteristics, organization, criminality, criminal justice policies. But what does it mean? Mara Salvatrucha Vatrucha. Translate. Does it not translate to something? I don't know. Translates to English. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Short for La Mara Salvatrucha is a gang. So, Forever Salvador. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. If somebody knows, let me know. But maybe that's maybe that's just going over my head. I don't know. But we're going to put that in the calculator just to see if it translates to something. Let's just do it without the number. Ooh, look at this. You see the 11-5 with Mara Salvatrucha 13? That was the election date, November 5th, 115. How amazing is that? And we'll try it without the number as well, just to see what we get here, okay? I don't see anything major there. Oh, you know what? Look at the 159 with Mara Salvatrucha. Doesn't Donald John Trump equal 159? Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Is it Donald J. Trump? I thought it did, but I may be wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. Donald Trump equals 159, y'all. Look at that. On the fly, you tell me you think I'm playing here? Well, I'm not. Look at that. Why does he speak so much of this gang? Bada boom, bada bang. Donald Trump 159 like Mara Salvatrucha. How freaking amazing, y'all. So what, about 40% of this on the fly so far, okay? I hope you like it. These are facts. I'm not here to entertain. It hits and it hits big. Okay? It hits and it hits big. The Trump administration deported him there anyway, later describing the mistake as an administrative error, insisting he was in MS-13. As his case continues in the U.S. courts, we'll continue with the story. Let's play this.
A Supreme Court order and still no action. The federal government is under pressure to explain why a wrongfully deported Maryland man remains locked up in a prison in El Salvador.
Let's get to Maureen Ume in Northeast D.C. with more details for us. Mo?
That's right. This case has faced growing legal and diplomatic hurdles right now. What's happening is that the United States, the Trump administration, has said that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive, but that he is still in a maximum security prison in El Salvador. But they haven't said how or if they plan to bring him back here to the United States. This is despite a court ruling here by the Supreme Court last week that said they need to facilitate his return. Again, this case taking so many twists and turns. The 29-year-old Abrego Garcia is from Beltsville. That's where he lives. He's a Maryland man. He was mistakenly deported last month. It happened despite a 2019 court order that blocked his removal due to fears of gang violence in his home country, El Salvador. The Supreme Court has since ordered the federal government to facilitate his return, but in a weekend court filing, the Justice Department claims that that does not mean that U.S. officials have to intervene with El Salvador's government. Instead, they're arguing that they'll allow Garcia to re-enter if he manages to make it back on his own. International law experts say the court is not buying that.
The judge is requiring this daily update exactly to put pressure on the government, because the hope from the judge, at least, is that the government is going to ultimately say, okay, we actually do have to comply with this order and we are going to have to do something about this. Obviously, we all hope that the rule of law is followed. The Supreme Court has spoken. The Supreme Court has indicated that the government should follow the district judge's order.
Abrego Garcia's lawyers are asking for the court to hold the government in contempt, saying that these daily updates have given no indication about progress in actually bringing him back here to the United States. There will be a hearing tomorrow where the judge is expected to come down hard on the United States government, asking what is happening and what their timeline is. Again, a lot still happening with this case. We're hoping to get more updates today, including from Abrego Garcia's
You better have heard that.
attorney.
A Supreme Court order and
Let's
still
play
no
this. Let's play this at least a few seconds.
You have a gang called MS-13. They are the equivalent or worse than Al-Qaeda. They don't like to shoot people, they like to cut people. They do things that nobody can believe. These are true animals.
Operating in at least 42 states and the District of Columbia. No coincidence, right? Look, and don't forget, they say operating in 42 states, including the District of Columbia. Deported 42. Garcia 42. I'm telling you, y'all. I mean, this is just how it is. This is the code. Okay? This is what all of these stories are operated on. Okay, now look at these side connections. I told you this is all with the language. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man ICE mistakenly deported to an El Salvador prison. Val Kilmer died recently on the first day of the 4th month. So that's another 14. Remember, US equals 14. They say he lived in the US for around 14 years. Trump, born on the 14th of June. This article on the 14th day of the 4th month. Richard Chamberlain, TV actor, starred in Dr. Kildare. He passed recently. Kildare, Kilmer, Kilmar. Come on, right? And even Kilmar, look, you get the 64 like ice right there. Okay? And that's ABC 123 with ordinal. Ice has 64. And what? The hockey NHL playoffs, I think they start on the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. Right? And we just had the NCAA Frozen Four championship. You know what I'm saying? Right? Didn't we just have a 64 on the fly? Remember, Trump is born in 46, the 64 reversed. And let's not overlook all these other connections here on the side. Look, Mara Salvatrucha, 13 equals 64. Oh, completely on the fly. Kilmar 64, Ice 64, y'all. So this is developing into one of the better breakdowns here. Oh, and look with the language. Look, Kilmar trending, K, right? Kildare trending, K. Kilmer trending, K. Denver Nuggets boss Josh Kroenke fires coach and GM, trending, Kroenke, K. Ex-LSU receiver Kyron Lacey dies in an apparent suicide, right? Kyron, K. Karina Groff, RIP, plane crash, her and her family, couple of loved ones near to the family. Look, Karina, K. That was in New York, plane crash. This is all by the language, all right? All right? You know, this guy, he's got a girlfriend, it looks like. Jennifer Vasquez, girlfriend, or they're married, I don't know. She's a U.S. citizen, the records say. Well, if he was deported, I don't know. I don't think you can get married in this country if you got deported, right? But they lived in Prince George's County, just outside Washington. In 2019, Abrego Garcia went to a Home Depot. Oh my God. Home Depot looks like deport. And I was thinking of that earlier. Look at this crap. He went to a Home Depot looking for work when he was arrested. And depot is one letter away from being deport. How stupid. Don't forget deport's got D like Donald. Detectives asked if he was a gang member after explaining he wasn't. He was detained by ICE. He later told an immigration judge he would seek asylum and asked to be released. His girlfriend or whatever was 5 months into a high-risk pregnancy. ICE, however, alleged he was a certified gang member. Jeez. According to Abrego Garcia's attorneys in his current case, the criminal informant had alleged that Abrego Garcia belonged to an MS-13 chapter in New York, where he has never lived. The information was enough for an immigration judge in 2019 to keep Abrego Garcia in jail as his immigration case continued. Court records state the judge said the informant was proven and reliable and had verified his gang membership and rank. Oh, okay, so he did later marry Vasquez Sura in a Maryland detention center. According to court filings, she gave birth while he was still in jail. So, I guess if you get married, they just don't care, right? Anybody can just get married, I guess. But look at this. I forgot to mention, they say this guy's out of Maryland. Maryland sounds like Maraveltrucha, right? What a joke, okay? But Maryland has the 88 like Trump. You see that? Maryland's got the 88 and the 47 like Trump. What a joke. What a joke, right? 88 and 47 like Trump, and Maryland sounds like Mara Salvatrucha, however you say it. Look at that, man. And John's got the 47, Donald John Trump. Wow, I almost forgot to mention that, y'all. So, I don't think we need to read all of this, right? What a proven script. You know, we can't get caught up in our emotions. They want our emotions to be tampered with here, okay? But I've proven that this is completely by this code here with this breakdown.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia had lived in the U.S. for about 14 years, according to court records. He entered the country illegally around 2011. In 2019, police arrested and questioned him in Maryland about being a gang member. After saying he wasn't, he was released into the custody.
It says entered illegally. Look at the 2011. 20 plus 11 is 31. Donald equals 31.
Of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. But ICE found he was a certified gang member based on information from a confidential informant that said he belonged to an MS-13 chapter in New York. That same year, an immigration judge denied Abrego Garcia his asylum request, but granted him a withholding of removal status, preventing his deportation to his native El Salvador.
Who's the El Salvador president? Because we never got a name. El Salvador president. I mean, this is okay. Look, he's got the July 24th birthday. Let's grab his full name real quick. Naib Armando Bukel Ortiz. And then we'll put we'll put just the two names they give us there as well. Let's see if we get anything here. Like we need it, but I feel like we need to. They say they don't want to bring him back. Look at that. 104 like 14. 104 like 14, and they say an MS-13 gang member allegedly. Look at that. 130 like 13. And don't forget, where's it at? Oh, it's in the breakdown over here. Let's go back over here. I think we have a 130. Also, right? MS-13 gang member 130. Check that out. The president of El Salvador, freaking 130. And there's that 104 like 14, y'all. I'm telling you, this is what I do over here. No joke, on the fly. That's what he goes by, the president. 64. You see that right there? Don't forget. Kilmar 64. Ice 64. And Trump born in 46. Mara Salvatrucha 13. 64 in the damn language, y'all. You like that? You even get the 64 with Corinna Groff, excuse me. Ooh. And even her first name with that plane crash. Something else I was going to state here. I'm trying not to get too far off topic. Wow. Amazing. And that is everything I originally entered for this breakdown. Holy crap. Undeniable, y'all. Okay, so I'm pumped up and I'm ready for the next one. Hopefully we didn't go too long here. Shout out. I mean, we needed every bit of this. Who is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man ICE mistakenly deported to an El Salvador prison? Complete breakdown in this, where are we at? Maybe 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes. Okay, compare it to other breakdowns out there, y'all. AI, what's up? We're finally recovering from the 3.3K short. Maybe we can get some views on the videos again. What a joke. Until next time, peace.